Music producers, Curtis King, CurtisKingBeats.com, and the question that I always get on a regular basis, Curtis, man, give me the insider, man. Stop playing with me, fam. Stop playing with me. Don't be giving me no YouTube answers. Give me the real spiel. What kind of beats sell the most, Curtis King? Let's talk about it. Music producers, what types of beats sell the most? This is a question that you can ask 20 producers and get 20 different answers. There is no universal answer to what beats sell the most, but what I can do is I can show you how I was able to break down my biggest selling beats, and maybe you can use the same sort of tools to figure out what is it that people want from me, right? And for you, the scope may not be, I have a beat that sold 20 and a beat that sold 15. Maybe you had a beat that sold 5 times and one that sold 2 and one that sold 3. You trying to figure out, okay, well, these numbers are not too much of a jump from each other. I wonder what separates the 5 from the 3. Well, here's what I started to do. When I think about the types of beats that sell the most, the first question that I ask is, how many instruments does that beat have? Because I'm willing to bet 9 times out of 10, the beats that sell the most for me are the ones that have very minimal instrumentation. It is the most annoying thing that I could ever explain to you. I can only talk to fellow producers who understand this, because if I explain it to my wife, she'd be like, what's wrong with that? You do less work and you get more money. What's wrong with that? She wouldn't understand that, but y'all understand the frustrations of this. What happened to that beat where I put a million instruments into it? I brought contact strings, action strings. I put some horns into that. I had some sessions horns. It was doing some crazy thing like, it had like all kind of choirs. I was like, oh yeah. It was all kind of stuff going on. I had like these percussions that sound like Kanye West on 808s and Heartbreaks, and everything was going crazy, and the arrangement was crazy, and then the first little drop had a boom 808, and it was just the most amazing thing, but it only sold 2 copies in a year. Why is that? Why is it the beats that we put the most energy behind end up having the least amount of results? Because here's the thing about it. As producers, we have to be able to separate personal preference as producers from effectiveness for rappers. What do I mean by that? What our personal preference is probably the beat that we remember putting the most energy behind. And it's probably the most memorable beat to us because we remember how much it took to get that beat done. We remember the energy that we felt within our soul and within our bodies when that 808 was rumbling through the room. We remember when we kind of wasn't even trying to make a beat, and then it started off as just a little bitty loop, and that loop ended up sounding kind of fire, and then it became this monumental epic beat in less than an hour. We remember those situations. None of that matters to the rapper that's buying. None of that matters to the singer that's buying. All they know is what they hear. They cannot listen to a beat and smell the sweat that came behind it. You know, people who are producers who have an appreciation, or people who are listening for the things that you listen to, can appreciate that. Most people don't give a damn. And I hate to break your heart if it does break your heart for that. That is a realization that I had to have. So when it came to trying to figure out the beats that sold the most, first thing I asked is how many instruments did it have? I started noticing that aside from the drums, if we don't count the drums, we count the drums as one instrument, and that includes hi-hats, snares, kicks, 808s, you know, all the percussions and that. Let's just count that as one. If we count that plus the melody, I found that 3 to 4 melodies or 3 to 4 melodic ideas, even like some kind of a synthesizer sound effect, end up being my most successful beats. I don't know why. The ones that had one dominant lead, those end up being the most successful. I kind of have an idea why. I feel like it's more effective because a rapper will listen to it and say, oh, that's dope. I could basically steal the show from this beat, and this beat could just basically be a strong backdrop to what I'm doing. Now, I know they don't all talk like that, but I know some rappers are like, yo, I don't want a beat that's gonna steal the spotlight from what I'm trying to do. And sometimes producers, we can do that. We are all guilty of that. I am surely guilty of that. I've made beats where it left no space for the rapper. I've had rappers that would listen to me make a beat and they was like, okay, where do I come in? Like, when does the beat like calm down? Because the beat is like, and they just like, okay, this is crazy, man. I don't know what the hell to do with this. Hey, can you take out that instrument? And by the time I'm done, all that's left is the drums. So then I started to learn there's a difference between personal preference and effectiveness for a rapper. So when it comes to what type of beats sell the most for me, obviously because the majority of what I make is hip hop and trap, it fluctuates between the two. It depends on the time of the year. What I have found is that during the end of the year, typically because music tends to be a little bit more warmer with the holidays, typically because the weather becomes a little bit more colder, people like to listen to warmer music, right? Music about love. They like to listen to music that makes them feel, you know, sort of homesick. They like to listen to music that just makes them feel good, right? Top of the year, people want that I'm back energy. They want that energy that's like, yo, this year is my year, and they about to, oh, let's like a celebration. That's what the kind of energy they want. And then in the summertime, they're like, I ain't trying to be with her. I ain't trying to be with everybody. You know, they want that non-cuffing season music. So you just gotta figure out what's going on with the people around you. And I've noticed that depending on the time of the year, certain beats will sell more. Trap beats go crazy during the summertime for me. Hip hop, more introspective hip hop boom bap beats, they go crazy near September, October, November, December area. And then like I said, those really climactic, intro sounding type of beats, larger than life, typically work at the beginning of the year. So now another metric I pay attention to, how long is the beat? Sometimes I sit there and I'm making beats and I'm saying, okay, do I want to add 2 verses or 3 verses? What I have found is that beats with 2 verses just tend to perform better when it comes to sales. Now that could be for many different reasons. One of which could be that rappers don't want to write a 3rd verse. They're hearing all these other artists that are putting out 1-minute songs. They're looking at even like rest in peace Triple X. He had that very short project with Skins, and they're trying to figure out, okay, I don't know exactly why they did that, but I'm trying to be strategic, so I need music that falls in line with that. I'm not telling you to make 1-minute beats, but what I'm saying is sometimes that rapper is not even going to use that outro that you put so much energy into, you know, where you kind of slowed the beat up, you did a beat switch. Sometimes they're not even trying to do all that with that beat that you have. Does your beat even call for something that is something dramatic at the end? Like when I have beats that I know are going to be storytelling type of beats, right? Like a Joyner Lucas type of energy to it, I'm putting so much soul at the end of that beat because I know that that is going to be the climax of whatever story that's being told. That makes sense in that context, right? It's not trendy. That makes sense for what is going on. So when it comes to figuring out what types of beats sell the best, you must break down your metrics. You must see what these beats have in common that I've already sold. What are the BPMs? Are they above 85? Are they below 120? I promise you there are so many similarities within it. It is up to you to be a hound dog to find out what made those successful so you can find out how to make even more success situations happen for yourself. In this life, you will not be full of life until you decide to live life to its fullest. It's Curtis King, the leading voice of the online music producer and rapper community. Do not at me. Peace. Please subscribe to the channel below, Curtis King, CurtisKingBeats.com.